I was the only man in a house full of women who called everything girls only. So I stopped paying their bills and watched them turn into strangers overnight. And now they're begging. The moment that changed everything happened on a Tuesday evening in March. I came home from my double shift at the warehouse, exhausted, my back aching from loading trucks for 14 hours straight. I walked through the front door of the house I'd been paying for since Dad died 6 years ago and found my mother, my two sisters Brooklyn and Sienna, and my Aunt Patricia gathered around the dining table. They were laughing, glasses of wine in their hands, celebrating something. When I asked what the occasion was, my mother looked at me with that familiar expression of mild annoyance, like I was interrupting something important. "Girls only dinner, Marcus," she said, waving her hand dismissively. "We're celebrating Brooklyn's promotion. You can eat in your room, my room, in the house where my name was on the mortgage, where every single bill, from the electric to the water to the internet they were using to post their celebration photos on social media, came out of my bank account." I stood there for a moment, still holding my lunchbox, my work boots leaving marks on the floor I'd just had refinished last month. This wasn't new. This was the pattern of my life for the past 6 years, ever since Dad passed and left me at 22 as the man of the house. Except I wasn't treated like the man of the house. I was treated like the ATM of the house. Sure, I said quietly, and walked upstairs. But something was different that night. Maybe it was the exhaustion. Maybe it was the way they'd looked at me, like I was invisible unless they needed something. Maybe it was the sound of their laughter echoing through the house while I ate leftover Chinese food alone in my childhood bedroom, surrounded by posters I'd put up when I was 16. I opened my laptop and started looking at my finances, really looking. For the first time in years, the numbers made me sick. In 6 years, I'd paid over $300,000 to keep this family comfortable. The mortgage, the car payments for all 3 vehicles, insurance, utilities, groceries, my sister's college tuition, mom's credit card bills, Aunt Patricia's medical expenses when she moved in claiming she was temporarily between jobs 3 years ago. I made decent money at the warehouse, had worked my way up to shift supervisor, pulled overtime whenever possible, but I had nothing saved. Nothing. At 28 years old, I was living paycheck to paycheck while supporting 4 adult women who had never once asked me how I was doing. The financial abuse was so normalized, I hadn't even recognized it until that moment. Every family gathering was girls only. Every vacation they planned didn't include me because you have to work anyway, Marcus. Every decision about the house I paid for was made without my input because we outvumber you, as Sienna loved to say. I thought about my girlfriend Rachel, who'd left me 8 months ago. Her last words kept replaying in my mind. "I can't compete with your family, Marcus. They've trained you to think you don't matter unless you're useful, and you don't even see it." I'd called her crazy, told her she didn't understand family loyalty. But sitting there, looking at my empty savings account and hearing my family's laughter downstairs, I finally understood what she meant. This wasn't family loyalty. This was something else entirely. These toxic relationships had convinced me that love meant sacrifice, that being a man meant suffering in silence, that standing up for yourself was selfish. I pulled up my bank's website and started making changes. First, I removed my mother, Brooklyn, and Sienna as authorized users on my credit cards. Then I called my bank and set up a new checking account, one that only I had access to. I scheduled my direct deposit to go into the new account starting with my next paycheck. Then I did something that felt both terrifying and liberating. I opened a spreadsheet and calculated exactly how much each person in the house would owe if we split all expenses equally for the past 6 years. The number was staggering. They owed me over $220,000. I wasn't expecting them to pay it back, but I wanted to see it in black and white. Wanted proof that I wasn't crazy, that this family betrayal was real and documented. Downstairs, I could hear them moving to the living room, probably to watch one of their reality shows. My shows, the sports games I liked, were never an option. The TV I'd bought was for their entertainment. I looked